So today I want to talk about something I have learned in business, and I learned this for the first time from the Bernie Mac show. You ever see that show? Who you with, America? I loved it. I've watched every season of that, not joking, between 4 to 5 times. When I was a kid, my brothers and I would watch it all the time. After I got married, I watched it all the time. My wife, Tara, has probably seen every season at least twice because of me, but it's hilarious. I loved his sense of humor, got a kick out of the episodes. It was great. But there's an episode, I think it's in season 3, might have been season 4, where Bernie needs to build a room in his house. He needs to build out another room for a baby girl. So he has his 3 kids, not his kids, 2 nieces and 1 nephew, Jordan there. And baby girl needs her own room. So a contractor comes over to the house and he meets with Bernie and his wife, Wanda. And the contractor is going over pricing, what the room would look like, and he whips this triangle out.
But let me show you something. When it comes to construction, there's 3 things that people want. They want it good, fast, and cheap. The problem is you can only have 2. So if you want it good and fast, it ain't gonna be cheap. You want it cheap and good? Won't be fast. Cheap and fast? Guess what? Won't be any good. See where I'm going with that?
Wanda goes, we'll take good and fast. Contractor says, all right, that'll be $50,000. Bernie's eyes get really big. $50,000? But they moved forward with the room and it was good and it was also fast. My point here is the first time I saw that, I just thought it was hilarious and I liked how the construction guy is going through good and fast, not going to be that cheap, and just going through the two options that you can have. You can only have 2 of the 3 items, so which 2 do you want? But as I thought about it, and as I actually have grown in business and have really seen others grow in business, there's a lot of truth to this, especially around picking the 2 options of the 3. What do most people select? If you were to pick 2 options, which 2 would it be? And this is just a personal question, you to yourself. I would say most people would want cheap and fast. Some would want cheap and good. A small percentage of people would actually select good and fast, especially if you have to pay a premium for it. Now, convenience, right? Amazon sells on convenience. You could argue that they are good and fast. They're not always the cheapest, but they're good and fast. So that convenience definitely sells. But if you are in business or if you are in sales, taking that good and fast approach will go a long way for you. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you always have to charge an arm and a leg. For example, we sell high cash value life insurance at our company. We can't price it in a manner. I could price it by increasing the base premium to generate a higher commission for my company, and that could be referred to as the cheap model. It would not be good for the consumer interested in maximum cash value. But doing it good and fast, that's our mentality, and you can call it we're cheap to ourselves because we're taking a lesser commission up front, but it's a long-term gain. My point is take the good and fast mentality for your consumers, for those that you work with, and you will do extremely well in business and sales. So, with business, do not be cheap, invest in your company. Or if you are on your own, invest in yourself and tools and resources that can help you continue to move forward and not just fizzle out. So as an example, investing in yourself. I was listening to an individual, I had read his book and then I started following him more. He's in his 70s now, I think. He has a company that'll do about $1 billion in revenue this year. Maybe it's last year, but $1 billion in revenue. You think he knows what he's doing? Yeah, he does okay. So he does about $1 billion, but he invests in himself. And one of the things that he does, and a lot of people don't see the value in this, is going to seminars and events. Now, the last time that I went to a seminar was before COVID. I've gone to virtual events since COVID has hit, but I would go to events and seminars, and I will let you know that I cannot recall the theme, the title, the different speakers of those events or seminars. So did I waste the money even though some of them were very expensive? Not one bit. Going to those seminars, while I don't remember every detail, I've got my notes that have a lot of information, but what I do remember are the ideas and things other business owners were doing that I could then take and apply in my business. And why I mentioned that individual that's doing $1 billion in revenue this year, he mentioned that. I was listening to a podcast he was on and he would talk about, I would go to 2 to 3 seminars per year. And really the reason I would go is to get ideas. Like when I went to a seminar, there was never a time I didn't leave without 2 to 3 new ideas that I could then use in my business. So a great example of investing in yourself is a seminar, or maybe it's a small event where you're working with someone that is where you want to be, if you want to get to that level and really call it buy time so you don't have to learn by tripping and falling and making mistakes. You can learn from someone who's already made those mistakes. Investing in yourself by networking, hiring someone, whatever it might be. This is an investment, or you can call it personal development, business development. How can you learn or take ideas from others that have already done what you've done and they've made the mistakes you're going to make unless you are told by them, hey, don't do that because it's just going to hurt. It's just going to cause pain. Avoid that altogether. Investing in employees. This is huge, and this could mean directly increasing their pay or providing them with equipment, technology. For example, our employees here, including our salespeople, I make it a point to really invest in them. So we provide computers, we provide cell phones, office space, everything, because I don't want them to be burdened with having to spend money on additional equipment. A lot of companies do that, and there's nothing wrong if you do that. But my mindset is, hey, let's set the commission rates, the payout rates at a certain level, and then just provide everything that this person needs in order to move at the fastest pace possible. And then they're as productive as possible. They also have less stress, which goes such a long way. So you can call it investing in your employees' health and wealth, if you want to use that, rhymes. When I say wealth, increasing their pay and such when it's appropriate. I want to add something here actually, especially when it comes to being good and fast. Do not be cheap when it comes to employees. In my industry, the financial services space, what I see so much, and I was mentored and coached to do exactly what I'm about to tell you, is, hey, when you are growing your practice, your book of business, Steve, what you want to do is hire an assistant, make him really good as time passes, but pay them a small salary, and then really you bonus them as your book of business and your practice grows. So then they could be making, $60,000 to $100,000 per year, even more than that. They're going to be your executive assistant. And that's the mentality in my industry for the most part that I see. Now, as I explain that, does it sound really bad? No, it doesn't sound bad at all. It can be good, especially if you find the right person. However, if I said to you, hey, we're going to pay you a salary, very minimal, it's going to be $25,000 per year, but you have a ton of potential to earn a lot more. And it's based on the company's production, my production, you're taking a chance on me then, really. How do you feel? Or let me ask it in a different way. How many people do you think I'm going to find that are quick to accept that position? It's going to be difficult. So there's nothing wrong with making that offer, but from a growth standpoint, what I've learned is, you know what, rather than just hiring people that will only work under a bonus or incentive package, we have those incentive and bonus packages at our company, but you're not going to find, not everybody's going to be like that. There's good people that will work for a healthy salary and then have a bonus structure built in there. But if I start it too low, I'm going to miss the boat on so many good people. So make sure you're being fair in that respect. See what's going on in your area, other positions out there. Don't be cheap to try and say, hey, we're just going to give you more based on a bonus if you perform. A lot of times people hear those promises, they don't pan out, doesn't work out, causes more stress in the long run. At least it has for me. Office space. This is huge. So when I first started my company on my own, when I finally branched off after I was no longer working at the firm where I designed policies for corporations, I started in a garage. We had this little side compartment where I'm standing now used to be a garage, but this 25% of the garage had an office, half of an office. It was me and one part-time assistant I could afford at the time. She's also a family friend. And that was it. But as we've grown it, what happened is my dad had owned the garage He sold me the commercial real estate, which was the garage and several other units eventually as things had progressed, converted the garage into a full-blown commercial office. It was actually before I bought it from him. He let me do that because I'm his son. He knew what I was doing, so he was okay with it. But we converted that garage into a full-blown office. That grew. Company started to grow. We got more people. At one point in time, we had 3 people in individual offices. So at one point in time, because you could argue I was being cheap, there were 3 people in my office, 3 people in the office next to mine. I spent all my time working in the conference room, and we were just going crazy, calling people all day. It was fun. But is that a good move, really? Imagine if you're trying to talk to someone and then you got 2 more people in that same office that is not that big talking over each other. It's tough. And some companies do that with headsets at cubicles and all to them. But I was being cheap in that respect. Well, I would argue I wasn't being cheap. I'm like, well, I don't have any other space to go. I could have found space if I really wanted to. So what we did was renovate something good and fast as I could. Once we acquired the property, we took another building on the same property. It was older. It's a two-story building, and renovated it, upgraded the offices, and now all of a sudden we have enough space for everyone. Different departments, sales, client relations, case design, operations, management, everything. Now people can actually work and still work next to each other, offices next to each other, because that is still important. But you have to invest. So do I want to be cheap on that and say, oh, let me try and save money? Yeah, the walls might not be that good so you can hear through them. I just worked over in that office. The walls weren't that great. So I'm like, all right, let's invest in something to make the quality of the office space better. And I want it good and fast. I don't want to cheap out to try and save money and have some headache pop up down the road. Like, no, I don't want that kind of stuff. Marketing. Don't be cheap there. I'm not going to go into that because I've been talking for a while here already. A car. Right? So this is a non-business example. If you're looking at a new car and you can buy a new car and it's going to cost 30 grand, right? So new, off the lot, $30,000. This car is supposed to last for 300,000 miles. It's got durability and reliability. Sound good? All right, you're going to buy it. But then someone comes to you, says, hey, you can buy that car right now, or you can wait 3 months because we're supposed to be getting a trade-in. And I've got this car with 150,000 miles. But remember, these cars last for 300,000 miles. The cost is only going to be $8,000. This is going to be such a deal. In fact, I don't think it'll take 3 months. I'm pretty sure I can get it for you in 45 days. Or maybe you find that online. What would you do? What would most people do here? Well, yeah, I'll wait because I'm going to save myself. The other one was 30 grand, $22,000. And it's with a car that these things last forever. All my friends have it. They last forever. They're not having any problems. Yeah, I'll do that. But then we wait longer to get the car. And then that's the one car we get of that model that breaks down. Things don't work. We get frustrated with it. We keep spending more money to fix it. Or I don't have a car for a week because of issues and I'm stressed out. Like it's always a thing. It's no fun. Versus, hey, I spent the $30,000 and I don't have any stress. And I'm not saying if you don't have the money not to find deals, don't take it that way. That's not what I mean one bit. My point is really to relate that to business. Is if you are in a position, maybe you weren't at one point, but you've built up and now you're like, hey, I've worked so hard to get here. I finally have the capital and now I need to just dump it all back in the business to make things good and fast. Like I'm not comfortable doing that. The companies that propel to that next level and are at the top section of this triangle here, not the bottom section, are those that go move good and fast or select good and fast, not cheap. So just food for thought, something to dwell on. Nothing against bargain hunters, shoppers. My wife is very good at that. And I appreciate it in many cases where I'm like, let's just go quick. And she's like, no. I'm going to look at it and shop. And then she finds a much better deal than me. But from a business perspective, speed is very valuable. Anyway, I hope this helped. I hope you learned something from Bernie Mac, because it did not come from me. I got it from the show, so I cannot take credit for that. But as always, I do hope this helps. Please click the like button, subscribe for more, and we'll talk to you soon. Hey guys, Steve Parisi here. If you enjoyed the content you just saw, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for future videos. If you'd like more information or to see some custom policies for yourself, feel free to call or email our offices at the contact information below.